Well, well, well.
Well?
Well.
Oh, you don't have anything to add. Join us as we cover 10 board games that recently captured the attention of the Watch It Play team. And by team, you better believe I mean me and Matthew. So these are the games that caught our eyes and are on our radar.
Chaz and Rodney thought they could oust us. Well, who's the ousters now? That's right, it's us. Ousting away like it's going out of fashion.
Okay, calm down. Last month, Chaz and Rodney divvied up their list into intelligent and understandable segments, making for an easy to digest, informative, and you could even say entertaining list of games they were interested in.
Oh, you could say that. But to fuel our ousting rebellion, we won't be doing that at all. Chaos! We're letting chaos reign.
Also, I couldn't think of any categories.
It is harder than you think. What does card game even mean? You know?
Like, is this a card game?
Maybe. There's no way to know. It could be. Does he explode?
Are you a card game? Speaking of things we know or don't, my first pick this month is Masters of Crime Shadows, a deduction puzzle game. One of those escape room in a box adjacent titles where I really want to know the solution to the puzzle, but I'm probably gonna need some hints along the way. In Masters of Crime Shadows, you're going on a heist to steal a famous painting from the Bachman Gallery in Amsterdam. But of course, the best part about a heist is assembling your crew and making your plan. Rooms must be examined, security systems hacked, and puzzles solved. There are many ways to steal a masterpiece. Which one will you choose? And that's the crux of the game. Can you solve the puzzles to plan the best heist possible? And then, can you actually pull it off? The first puzzle you've got to solve, Matthew, is how to play the game, because I opened this box up and there's no rule book, just a stack of cards. It says, don't open anything until you're told to, break no seals. And I took that very seriously because the stack of cards itself is sealed up. And it doesn't actually tell you to break that seal, but you do need to do that to be able to keep reading the cards and actually play the game. So open them up, but don't shuffle them or read ahead. That is cheating.
Are you the bad guys in that game?
You are the people doing the crime. Yes. So bad guy relative, I think. It's all relative, maybe.
Paula, bad guy straight there. Through and through. Like the gardener heist.
It is. It is a lot like that. But isn't that the beauty of gaming? To put yourself in the shoes of a fantasy you'd never act out in real life, like stealing a painting from an art museum?
We should stop talking. Paula stole a painting.
What? No, it's just, Matthew.
This episode is made possible in part by Superstore 3000 from Space Cowboys. In the year 2964, interstellar commerce brings you Superstore 3000, the retro futuristic mall building competition to construct the tallest, most incredible mall to satisfy as many customers as possible. Each round is a dive into strategic decision making, from choosing optimal elements to strategically positioning attractions to bring in more visitors and their money. Include food courts, fashion stores, hobby shops, and more, each vividly illustrated to reflect its unique identity. Satisfy your customers, outsmart your competitors, and watch your futuristic mall come to life. Superstore 3000 provides strategic depth with a creative twist for 2 to 4 players. So join the race to build the ultimate space mall and be the envy of the entire galaxy when Superstore 3000 opens its doors this November. Click the link in this video's description to find it at a store near you.
Keeping no secrets about being amazing now is Agent Avenue, the anthropomorphic spy next door bluffing and strategic set collection game where rival agents race to uncover their opponents' identities. As retired spies in a suburban neighborhood, things were calm. But the jig is up, your identity is at stake, so it's time to outsmart your rivals and catch them fast. This is all done using some devious bluffing, playing one card face up and one face down. The other spy then gets to take whichever card they want, leaving you with what's left. It's all about trying to outwit your opponents by strategically collecting agent sets and effectively using spy tools while hopefully coercing a rival to take something they don't want, something they really don't want, or something that just isn't as good as what they left behind. Paula, I played this at Aircon.
Yeah.
Northwest, west, north, the one near me in Telford.
One of those directions.
Look, it was really good. I was just sat down with some friends and they were playing it, just 2-player game, which I think is how it works best. And then they said, do you want to play? It taught me the rules in about 2 minutes. And we're just playing. And it's so fun because there's cards that if you collect too many, because you've got movement, if you collect too many of those cards, you end up moving a lot. But then the next time you collect it, you move even more. But the third time you collect that card, you lose. You're out. Don't collect 3 of them.
It sounds stressful.
Oh, it is stressful.
I don't know. You were like, we should play this together. But I'm nervous about not being able to outwit you and you being able to outwit me, and the stress of what's the best thing, and is that what you wanted me to take? Because it's actually bad, and am I taking the thing that you wanted? Am I playing right into your hands? I think in this game, you are the bad guy. We all get a little bit lonely sometimes.
You are.
And wouldn't it be great to just...
Big time.
Must be nice. But for me, sometimes, I get a little lonely, and I think... Not you, of course, not you, Matthew.
Nope.
Not you, but just me. Wouldn't it be great to just dig up a bunch of body parts and like piece them together, imbue it with life force, and bam, I've got a friend? Well, let me tell you about a little game called Abomination: The Heir of Frankenstein. Another game where we're apparently living out our deep, dark fantasies that we would never say out loud or admit to in real life, except now I'm doing it on camera for the internet. It's been 20 years since Victor Frankenstein died on a ship in the Arctic, but his vengeful creature lives on, as does Robert Walton, the sea captain who vowed to kill the fiend before mercy stayed his hand. It's now 1819, and a sinister darkness descends upon the city of Paris. A mysterious benefactor of gigantic stature has emerged in the scientific community, never showing his face, claiming to possess the late Frankenstein's research. He sponsors a grand competition, offering an even grander prize, unlocking the mystery of mortality. And in this thematic worker placement game, you are a scientist taking part in this competition to become the heir of Frankenstein. Not in a literal sense, like you're not his genetic progeny, but more like a spiritual successor to his scientific dreams. When this game first came out in 2019, Matthew, I was pretty excited about it because I found the theme, again, as I seem to be admitting on the internet forever and on my all the kind of illegal things I'm interested in doing. I found the theme really intriguing, but the buzz surrounding the game died down kind of fast, and I didn't get a chance to try it until just this past month. And I played with the Igor
Move past it.
variant.
Move past that.
That one, which speeds up the game, and I found it really engaging mechanically and thematically, and I really want to play it with you. Matthew, specifically.
I don't want to go anywhere near the heir of Frankenstein because I bet it doesn't smell great.
How do they deal with that? You know, your rotting body parts, maybe once it's imbued with life force, the smell goes away, like, could you stop rotting away?
I doubt it, but I'm willing to believe.
Next expansion for the game, scratch and sniff cards for your rotting body parts you're putting together.
Oh, as you scratch, the skin
Ew!
falls off. I don't like it. I am eternally grateful now that I get a chance to talk about Eternal Decks, a game I'm so very excited to play, specifically with you, Paula. I think we would love this. It's here.
I think this looks very cool, so I'm pretty excited about it, and I want to hear everything you have to say.
Eternal Decks is a fully cooperative game where players are trying to complete the stage objectives before any one player can't take an action. If someone can't play a card on their turn and they're out of options, it's game over. There are restrictions when playing a card. All 3 rows in the field cannot have cards of the same colour or same number next to each other. And additional restrictions are applied to a row based on the stage being played. And while getting new cards from the different Eternal Decks in the game, they will give you more options. They also come with negative effects to overcome as you continue your struggle to victory. There are 6 stages currently in the game, and they have players collecting points, surviving a ghost town, navigating a labyrinth, defeating a boss, just loads of cool teamwork-based fun.
Genuinely, this game looks so cool. And Matthew, you pointed out to me a Thinker Themer video talking about the game and was like, look at this looks awesome. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, it looks really awesome. And I'm really excited to try and play this with you because we've really gotten into that like cooperative deduction kind of card-based game thing lately, and it looks beautiful. I'm really excited about it. My next game pick is at first going to sound a lot like Matthew's previous pick, but I promise it's different. It's a deck building game, but it's competitive, it's not cooperative, and it's all about time travel, using portals to jump to different eras in your search for a gem that grants eternal life. The Eternitium, the Eternitium, the Eternitium, which is also the name of the game, Eternitium, which sounds a lot like Eternal Decks, but it's not, it's different. In Eternitium, you have a stack of era cards, and you need to travel through each one to get to the Eternitium gem card on the bottom of the stack. To travel through these cards, discarding them, players will play a hand of technology cards to activate special powers and find portals. If you play a portal card that matches your top era card, you discard it, traveling through it. But your era cards aren't always face up, so you take a risk if you play a portal card and it doesn't end up matching your era card. Players will be able to acquire more powerful technologies from the market, but doing so causes you to add more era cards to your stack, making it harder to reach the gem. Matthew, you and I have been playing this on Board Game Arena, as you well know.
I do.
And it's quick. Gosh, it looks beautiful. It has a little exciting like push your luck. And it gives you the chance to have like a combo-y turn, and that's all stuff that I like.
I like that it's got weird glowing monolith art. You know, bow to the monoliths.
It's very evocative. It feels kind of like you're in like Myst or something a little bit, like a highly technological time travel Myst. Do you know what I mean?
It's like one of those games that's set in space, but also the Egyptians were there at one point.
Yeah. Well, aliens came down and created Egyptian.
It makes sense.
Anyway, we don't need to get into that, so it's a different video, probably.
I will say the thing I like about this game is that it just does something new with deck building, it feels like.
Yeah.
Which is always something that's good.
Also, though, solve this mystery for me, Matthew. How would you say the name of this game?
I wouldn't. I'd leave that to the viewers to discover on their own.
Wise.
Actually, Paula and I discovered the next game together as well. It's called Naishi, one of those little card games where we thought, sure, why not? We like games.
Why not? We like games.
And then by the end of it, we looked at each other with a shared look of, oh, we should play that again right now.
Like, oh my gosh, that was good. Do you want to just set it up again?
Should we just run that back?
Just like hit rewind, replay, try it again?
In Naishi, you will seek to improve your Japanese state as efficiently as possible. However, you will not be free to change the positioning of the cards at will. You must replace the cards in your hand and in your tableau with the cards from this central river, respecting their positioning. Essentially, by the end of the game, you want the cards in your tableau that your opponent can see and the ones hidden in your hand to score the most points. Every card scores points based on other cards present, as well as most often their position in your hand or tableau when the game ends.
This one really is good, and I looked for it while we were at Essen because I wanted to buy a copy of the game to have for myself. There's something so neat about the puzzle of rearranging where your cards are, manipulating what you have, and like trying to get the best arrangement of things possible, and knowing like this really is going to score me more if it goes in my face up section, but if it goes in my face up section, Matthew's gonna know I have it, and he might try and swap it out. He might try and do something to keep me from getting more of that kind of card, which I need to score the most points. It's like,
There's a little bit of manipulation with some tokens that you have. I think they're called emissary tokens, right? They're all shaped like Benjamin Sisko's head.
Yeah.
And that's a great Deep Space Nine cut
Yes.
for anyone if you've enjoyed that. Subscribe for more. So you can move around on the river a few things, and Oh, it's just wonderful. And it is, yeah, all the cards just score and do something, right? But the way it presents itself, artwork, absolutely lovely. The game's quick and short and fun. It's a bit unique in the way it works. I just thought it came together as an amazing package. And yeah, I keep on trying to find this game for sale.
Yeah.
Can't find it yet. It's French.
Yeah.
Why won't the French let us have it?
Come on, French, s'il vous plaît.
Well, hello there. At this point in the show, we usually mention another sponsor, but this episode had an open spot. So instead, I'm going to take the liberty here to mention a game that's on my personal radar, which is Rocket Roll, a lightweight dice placement game for 2 to 5 players that's self-published by a member of my local gaming community. Now, the designer of the game didn't ask me to mention it, and actually doesn't even know that I'm doing this. But I did want to do this because I played Rocket Roll last month at a local 3-day convention, and it was quite charming. The game's kind of a combination of the dice rolling and placement strategies of Las Vegas with the set collection of Splendor, for an experience that comes out familiar, but still infuses its own unique take on the concepts. I think it's safe to say that Rocket Roll is a labor of love, and its designer is self-publishing the game using the Game Crafter's website to print and distribute it. The game doesn't even have its own Board Game Geek page yet. There is a page for another game that just happens to also be called Rocket Roll, but that is a different game. So if you'd like to find out more about this one, and if you enjoy Las Vegas or Splendor, I recommend that you do, follow the link in this video's description to the site that has more information about the game. Check it out and see if you think Rocket Roll rocks.
Matthew, I hope you're not allergic to fun.
I am, actually.
Because my next game pick is all about...
It's pretty serious.
Oh. Maybe get like an antihistamine before I continue then.
I have to sniff a kitten before I play games, otherwise I'm terribly ill.
My next game pick is all about having the most pollen points, and the game does not come with an EpiPen, so play at your own risk. In the game of Flutter, players take turns laying tiles of varying shapes, earning petal tokens for matching flower petals in each corner of the tile. As the game progresses, players will spend those petal tokens when they enclose a previously laid tile, supplying the tile's pollinator with all the flowers it needs, earning pollen. Once a single stack of tiles in the supply rondelle, yeah, that's right, this game has a rondelle, has been emptied, the player with the most pollen is the winner in the game, but maybe not in their like sinuses or their watery eyes or their itchy nose. They have the most pollen.
Sometimes the inside of your mouth itches, and that's the worst.
It's the worst, like right in the back. Here's my...
You doing this?
A glowing review of this game. It made the back of my mouth itch. I saw this one at Essen, and it immediately caught my eye because it's got flowers, it's got butterflies, it's got tiles for you to lay down, and bonus, there's an Emily Dickinson poem in the rulebook.
Oh, good. I was hoping there'd be an Emily Dickinson poem in the rulebook.
Just to set the mood. You know? And she's known for her flowery disposition.
Would you say that I have a flowery disposition? I don't care what you think, actually. My next game is Floristry. That's what we're getting at. It's a 2-player tile-laying game. Nothing unusual about that. Where players compete as historic Alsemere, pronounce that wrong, it's a Dutch auction, to win the best flowers. And then use them to create the most charming window display. Again, sounds like a board game.
It sure does sound like a board game.
But there's a big old but. Each round features a Dutch auction because the game is set at an auction in Dutch. The game's in English.
Man, when the theme meets the mechanisms, you know what I'm saying?
The game's in English. It's the Netherlands. Some people say Holland. You know?
I don't know why the different... Who knows? It's hard to keep track of.
Oh, the Dutch are going to be up in the comments now, aren't they? I say the Netherlands, but that's fine. Look, a Dutch auction
is
where...
It's good for engagement, Matthew.
True, that's why I did it. That's why I did it. Thanks.
It's called a Dutch engagement. That's what we're...
That was a different spiring. This is a Dutch auction where the clock counts down from 15 seconds while the price drops every 3 seconds. And there's an app that times all this for you. So you'll have to think fast, bid carefully, and pay close attention to get what you want at the right price. It's terrifying and stressful and Dutch. What a mix.
It's just a big game of chicken.
Players then simultaneously and strategically place their new flowers into their storefront, earning charm points. Paula, charm. And then the game, they get points for their largest patch of each flower type, and the points, again, literally charm. It's charming.
The little figure you use to count your points on your board, it's a cat.
Oh.
Cats are charming.
You introduced me to this one, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, I did. I did. And yet Matthew gets to have it as his pick. He beat me in the auction for who gets to put this on the list as their pick when I'm the one who discovered it. But it's fine. I don't mind. I'll win in the end.
Also, I think some people always hear, oh, it's an app. Oh, now it's not a board game or whatever, you know, but it's just a little clock app thing, right?
It's just a clock. The app really amps the game up because it really pushes in. You're watching the clock tick down, and you're watching your money amounts go down, and you're watching your opponent's finger hovering over the bid button, and you're like, get it. Come on.
Are they going to pay 4 for this? Because I really want it, but I only want to pay 3 for it. It's honestly, it's brilliant.
But sometimes you don't want it at all. But if you twitch your hand just enough, you're going to make the other person go for it and spend more than they would have otherwise because you tricked them, and it's like the best feeling.
It's a really fantastic game. It really is. I loved it.
It's fun. Matthew, I'm in a pickle.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh dear indeed. I like sweet pickles. I like bread and butter pickles. I like other kinds of pickled vegetables, but I do not like dill pickles. And this has put me in an emotional pickle because my final game for this list is called I'm Kind of a Big Dill. And that is a punny reference to dill pickles.
You're in a dilly of a pickle.
I'm in a dilly of a pickle. And it's so sour, but I like it so much. I'm Kind of a Big Dill is a party game designed by Adam Bain and Grant Lyon. You may know Grant because he is a comedian and the guy behind the board game series Grant's Game Rex.
I know his other series, Grant Tries Pickles. It was not successful.
No one else has heard of it. You are one of 5 people who watched those videos. So I'm glad to see that Grant has pivoted into new pickle-related content. This is a party game where you describe traits like your thirst for revenge, bedside manner, and ability to cut your own hair. But with a catch. You also draw a secret token that tells you how much you have to exaggerate your abilities, making them sound better or worse than you are in reality. After hearing your description, everyone else guesses the number on your secret token. How much are you lying? How much are you telling the truth? How much of an exaggeration is it? Are you spot on? That's what they're trying to guess. They score based on how close they guess to that actual value. But you only score if some, but not all, classic party game mechanism, of the others guess correctly.
Do you reckon the game came first, or do you reckon the name I'm Kind of a Big Dill came first?
I bet the name came first, and they were like, and we could use pickles in it somehow. The scoreboards are like pickles, the pickle shaped, they have little pickle tokens, and then they were like, oh, how do we make this work? I know. That's what, we'll have to find out, but I think the name came first, and then the game.
It sounds good. Paula, here's something I love in board games.
What?
Lying.
You just like to lie. You love telling little fibs and seeing what you can get people to believe. That's a true thing about Matthew, everyone.
I work in the board game industry, Paula. We're all lying to you all the time. Everyone watching the video, everyone's lying all the time.
No. What I like about this game in particular is it gives you direction, right? Rather than being like, I have to decide for myself if I'm bluffing or not. You know, I think that is something that would intimidate a lot of maybe more introverted people away from playing something like this. But the game tells you what to do. All you have to do is go, what is true about this? How good at cutting my own hair am I? And then you know what your actual answer is. So you're mostly telling the truth, right? But then you get a number that tells you now you have to like exaggerate that you're way worse at it than you are, or exaggerate that you're way better at it than you are. And you just amp up what is already a true fact. So you're not having to create some story out of nowhere. It gives people that, like, something to latch onto and some direction. And I think that's what's going to make this game successful, actually. That's what I really think.
About 20 years ago, my mom was cutting my hair. And I tell you what, she thought she was cutting through a big clump of hair. It was my ear. And I've never trusted anyone else with a pair of scissors again. That is true.
Is that why you cut your own hair, Matthew?
Maybe.
Oh. We're airing all kinds of things out to the internet today.
One last thing to talk about. Paula, did anyone ever make you a mixtape?
I have never had a mixtape, like a cassette tape, but
Good.
I have had...
Finish there. No, I don't want to hear anything else that you got, because I'm jealous. No one ever made me one.
Just
Well,
burn
I'm happy.
CDs with song lists written.
You can tell I'm happy because of the way I'm saying it. So now I can make my own. In the game, I made you a mixtape, which I'm calling I Made Me a Mixtape.
I made me a mixtape. I'll make you a mixtape.
I don't want your mixtape.
Jeez, okay. But these days it would be like a playlist on Spotify.
It's the early 90s. Baggy jeans and flannel shirts reign supreme. I'd argue they still do. But while the unmistakable sound of dial-up internet fills the air, a young Dan DeLisio, that's the name they came up with, the coolest kid in your neighborhood, is heading off to university and is letting you and your school friends raid his beloved music collection before he goes. In return, he's asked you to make...
The designers of the game, made this mythical, coolest kid in the neighborhood character named after themselves.
They did, yes. In return, he's asked you to make him a mixtape for his road trip to college. To make things more interesting, he said that the kid who makes the bestest of all the mixtapes will win his signed Quantum Leap poster by Scott Bakula himself. And let me tell you, Paula, you really want that poster.
Ooh, signed by Scott Bakula himself? Ooh. It would look really good right there, right there. Take this picture of me down, put it right there.
That's pretty much the actual blurb for I Made You a Mixtape, an I Split You Choose card game where competing maestros aim to make the best compilation possible out of an album collection. Your tape will be judged on how well it's themed, how well the tracks flow together, and the balance of lengths between the A side and the B side. Because tapes used to have sides. People, it was weird.
They did, but the best songs were on the A side.
I don't know.
Which is why my musical improv team was named the B side, because we're like, we're making these songs up. These are not the ones you're going to hear on the A side, but maybe they're okay.
I had a tape stuck in my first car. I could rewind it, but I couldn't get it out. Oh, no. And I had to listen to the same thing over.
Oh no, so you just had to listen to that? What tape was it?
It was like a best of Michael Jackson. The car came with the tape stuck inside the tape player.
Honestly, it could have been a lot worse jams to have to listen to over and over again.
But I Made You a Mixtape. Yeah, I'm just excited about it. I love I Split You Choose type of games. We've spoken about another one on this list already, and there's not enough of them, Paula. And the theming, it's all tongue-in-cheek. It looks fun, so I'm always excited to talk about it.
I think the theme of this sounds really fun. I think the way it looks really cool. Like, I love the visuals of it. I'm really excited to check this one out. Actually, I really am. And that's the games that are on our radar this month. Who needs Rodney and Chaz? It's Paula and Matthew. It's our channel now. And there's more games to discover by continuing on to our most recent People's Choice video, which lists 10 games that other viewers just like you have been playing. Some new, some old, and always some unexpected. We'll see you over there. And thanks for watching.
Bye.